Hey guys, I am back. Just for a brief moment, actually. I only have a single video to record. I've had a few good games online over the past month and a half or so, but sadly they've all died when I tried to replay them. But this game actually does work out okay, and it is me with Azami versus Erebos. This is actually game 2 of a 2-game series. First game was fairly straightforward. He had a pretty slow draw and didn't get Erebos running, and I just kind of ran over him with Azami going first as well. This game, however, is going to be a little bit different. And just as a disclaimer, the guy's deck is not the best deck in the world. I'm just recording a replay just to get one out there, and also because at least it's fairly interesting game where I'm in trouble at the beginning, as you will soon see. But yeah, I've pretty much just given up on trying to record regular replays until the replay system is fixed. Ryan Spain assures me that they've made that a priority because it prevents people from producing online content for games that they've played without using Twitch or something that has its own archival service. So until that's worked out, don't expect a lot of videos from me, unfortunately. I have been making do by playing a lot of EDH with live cards, and one of the reasons why I'm playing Azami is because I just put it together with live cards. The other decks I built with live cards are, it's funny how I just refer to them as live cards as if that's something special or different from what we're used to, but I have Edric, Omnath, Nin, Aloro, and now Skithrix and Azami all built live. And obviously I have to switch some cards around between all of them because I don't have, for example, 6 copies of Mana Crypt. I think I have 3. But I acquired a couple of cards recently, like finally got an Imperial Seal after waiting years on it and watching the price go up and up and up and up and up. Got an Imperial Seal, so that allows me to build Skithrix correctly, along with a Grim Tutor. And certainly Imperial Seal will make my Aloro deck better too with real cards. But I've got Azami right here. It was rather trivial to build given that it had cards in all the other decks, including mainly from Nin and Edric. And I only had to purchase a handful of random things like Jushi Apprentice and Minamo School at Water's Edge. So here we go. Game 2. I'm keeping this one. Oh wait, I have to click that. Pretty solid draw. Missing a second blue, but I do have Wayfarer's Bauble. Game 1, I played a turn 1 Wayfarer's Bauble, and he cast Pithing Needle. And I was thinking, God damn, that's one of the most awful cards to deal with because I have so few outs against it with mono blue and no way to break it, and stealing it, if I had a way to do that, doesn't change its effect. So I figured he'd name Azami, and instead he named Wayfarer's Bauble, which was fine because I had plenty of land, and I eventually got Azami out and killed him with it. Maybe he'll learn his lesson this game. Turn 1. Turn 1 Sol Ring. That makes this guy a hell of a lot stronger, especially going first, because I have no way to stop it at all. It's so annoying having negate in hand against turn 1 Sol Ring. But that's the mono blue issue also. If you play mono blue, you're just accepting that a sizable portion of the time your opponent's going to open with Crypt or Sol Ring, and you're probably going to either be at a huge disadvantage to it or you're just going to lose straight up. And that's why mono blue is not that good. So I would never consider mono blue to be anything but a tier 2 deck. Just the inability to interact with Sol Ring and Mana Crypt just makes it bad. Erebos. Not a surprise. God, it's so disgusting too. Like he has the ability to just draw 2 a turn now. For free. Well, almost for free. Alright, so choice of either keeping mana back to negate or to muddle, playing Jushi Apprentice to start drawing cards with it, or just increase the mana. And in that case, certainly facing Erebos. I do have the muddle, which is interesting because long-term plan against black with card advantage, of course, is the card that's been beating black card advantage since 1995, Winter Orb. So we're going to go with that plan. Just try to get Winter Orb on him as quickly as possible. Even though he does have Sol Ring, without black mana, he's pretty neutered. 5. Curse of Death's Hold. Well, fortunately, that's only -1/-1, so we're not too afraid of that. Jite. Not very useful right now. Alright, so in this situation, I don't feel that Muddle is worth keeping up particularly, so I'm just going to play the Juicy Apprentice with the plan that if I don't have to negate, I can sack the bauble to get a second island. Or a third island, I should say. Spending a bunch of mana. This is a very strange play that he eventually arrives at after tapping and untapping a million times. So he Mind Shatters me for 2 instead of for my entire hand. So he can keep 2 black mana, presumably to play around Condescend, I guess. Doesn't play around Mana Leak, and I guess to draw a card as a backup. It's not totally horrible, given that it's still 2 for 1. But I think in this case I would have just gone for the full 4. Fortunately, I have negate. He can still draw cards, so his play looks better, given that I have negate. Well played, Mr. What's his name? King Kill. Alright. Well, we're not quite ready to pull the trigger on Win Orb yet, because we need to get set up a little bit better. I'd really love to have Azami out and running before I do it. Or at least have some more mana artifacts in play. And because I can protect my hand still with the Memory Lapse, I'm still fine. So we're going to play a Coalition Relic. Have the option to draw at the end of the turn, which is really nice. Alright, he's got a lot of mana out now. 7. Drawing cards off Erebos. Doing it again, he's at 7. Alright, that looks like a good situation right there. Useless artifact. And I gave some thought to just charging and not sacking my bauble here to get what was on top, but I figured I'd just rather get the island. There's another blue, which is really nice. Alright. Clank. The orb comes down. And because of Erebos and because of the fact he drew 3 cards last turn, I assume that I'm going to have to be dealing with 4 mana a turn, at least for a while. Which is a lot better than dealing with 8 and then 9 and then 10. So there's 4 mana. Sangromancer. 3/3 flyer. I'm just going to lapse here to, well, mainly just to slow the clock down. I plan to cast Azami next turn, and also because he may not actually have more land, and so he can't even cast this next turn. He only has 5 cards in hand, so there's a reasonable chance of that. There's a Martyr of Frost. So good usually, so bad against Curse of Death's Hold. So we're just going to play Azami here. There's a Teleria West. I've cut this from my real life deck because I didn't want to acquire one. Probably have one lying around somewhere, but I just don't think it's good enough, honestly, to use anymore. Reliquary Tower is good, though. Alright, well, looks like we're going to face Sangromancer again. I was really, really worried he'd cast like a Damnation or something. Not that I couldn't replay Azami relatively quickly, but it'd be annoying. But this bad problem here is black, 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 black. That's Devotion 5, so I'm going to get smashed for 5 from his commander now. Alright, Force of Will, that's pretty handy. Just going to draw something hopefully useful. Draw a strip mine here, which will allow me to kill land during upkeep. Still gets to draw, though. But it does kind of wipe out his turn, at least. Take 8. 10 commanders so far. So we're going to have to draw a solution here pretty quickly, but fortunately we do have draw 3 every turn. Future Sight. I might as well ramp it up a little more. Draw Forbid, draw to Fairy. More potential card drawing there. I'm just going to put Future Sight out, though. Chronologist. Excellent. I still have the mana to Forbid, and obviously I'm going to use Force of Will on Martyr of Frost at the next opportunity, given that it's useless against Curse of Death's Hold. I'm not likely to get rid of that anytime soon. 4 mana. Lash Writhe. Or Lash Writhe. Duh. 7. So it would make this thing a 10-10, and I'm at 24, so clearly that has to be forced. So I'm going to draw first, see if there's anything better to throw away. Still get Bash for 8, down to 15. Glad I don't have Mana Crypt in play. Copy Artifact, very handy. Just going to play that off the top and copy the Relic. I'm doing that just to get extra blue mana. I could get Sol Ring, but I actually kind of want blue mana more, given that a lot of my islands are tapped. I don't really feel the need for a bunch of colorless mana. It's actually one of the reasons why I don't run Thran Dynamo in this deck. I had it before, and I just found, as good as Thran Dynamo is, I just don't have that many big colorless outlets to use it on. A lot of things that cost double and triple blue. As you can see, I've got them here, and this deck just seemed to be starving for islands all the time until I increased the land count in it substantially. Rain. Pretty cool. I'm kind of on the fence about this card, honestly. If anybody watches this video and has a good recommendation for a wizard that I might not be using over Rain, I'm all ears for that. I'm thinking I might just run another 3-mana counter here. I think I currently have Hinder and Spell Crumple in here just as holdovers from the pre-Tuck rules. My real paper version has Dissolve now, because Dissolve is just probably better than those two counters. Rain, I think, is kind of cool. It's certainly good against some decks, but I don't think that it's not necessarily that good in this deck. So there might be something better. I sure wish Thada Adele was a wizard. Certainly seems like it should be. Rain's going to go over here. I'm not casting it anytime soon. I'm just going to draw it. Void Mage Prodigy. That's kind of handy, actually, because I can play it as a morph, which means that I can use it as a chump blocker. And there's a mana leak on top, which is also very handy. So he just runs the Squelching Leeches 8/8 into play. I'll just mana leak that for free. We're just going to chump here because I don't feel like going down to 7. Gets to mimic that. This is pretty nice to show up to Divining Top with the future set in play, even though I'm starved for mana a little bit because of my own Winter Orb that's saving my life in many ways. Oh my goodness. The sword. The one sword I play specifically for this reason. Winter Orb. So incredible. Alright. Oh man, a Mox Opal on top too. Chalice. I guess I could have played the Chalice for a bunch of mana and done some shenanigans with it, but I didn't feel like doing the math. This might have worked out. Let's see, 2, 4. I could have cast it for 2. It's 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it would have worked out either way, but it wasn't really a big urgency. I'm just going to play this guy off artifact mana. Equip Sword to Jishi Apprentice. Tap out, obviously, because I get to untap all my land. It's absolutely disgusting. Just going to cast a Chalice right there. Equip the Sword to Azami to block, which stems the bleeding. Goddamn, Sword of Feast and Famine. It's so insane. Alright, so he's going to use his Mimic Vat. He's trying to just push for damage here, even though I can block 5 of it. But he does not know I have Teferi in hand. Block, block. Take 3. There's a Bribery on top, and step draw, draw. God damn, the combo is so gross. Snapcaster Mage. I'm just going to go get Shackles here. I don't even care about the Mage. Shackles gives me an out against his Vampire, which of course turns this thing off as well. And I make a little mistake here. I should have shackled, even though this thing's tapped, I should have just shackled right now because of its ability. Whenever an opponent discards a card, you may gain 3 life, because I'm about to make him discard by attacking. I'll play Lotus off the top, Condescend. Play Forest Down, I'm just tapping all my lands right now. Equip the Sword to Jishi Apprentice. Discards Ghost Quarter. So I'm just do some. Oh, there's a Treachery now too. I can just snag that thing another way. Pretty disgusting turn here. I can safely tap out most of my blue mana as well, given how many non-artifacts or non-land sources of blue I have. To level up Chronologist to 7. You got one more turn there, Mr. Black. He plays a land and scoops it up. So I felt like this was a pretty solid comeback against turn 1 Sol Ring, turn 2 Erebos, the way the game ended up rapidly. But it's all thanks to the mighty Winter Orb. 3rd best artifact in all of EDH. Hope you guys enjoyed that game. I'm sorry I don't have more games to watch. If I do have any games that turn out to have good replays, I will certainly post them. But look for me to start playing and posting a lot more games once the replay feature is ironed out. See you guys later.